this is probably stupid, but hot take moment.
Okay.
So bear with me if this take is a little too spicy. I feel like we need to
I feel like
rename.
this episode just needs to be called "Let's Bash the Catholics."
No, I like.
I know that's why. That's why I added the disclaimer at first. I actually generally like.
This is a positive thing about
Okay,
Catholics,
okay.
Or at least to me, it seems like it. So, hot take: maybe we should rename Protestantism to something else that doesn't indicate that we are protesting against Catholics anymore. Because we're really not.
So obviously,
I don't protest the Catholics.
Obviously, the idea of renaming Protestantism.
Obviously, it's not going to catch on.
It's more of a symbolic thing.
100%.
But I tend to agree with you. I actually think Protestant, the phrase, I don't know if it was coined by Catholics. I kind of
that would not
suspect
surprise
it was.
me. I mean, they had like all
because
the
it is the Catholic framing.
Yeah.
You're the Protestants. You protest. Now, I've heard one Catholic person say this. He's the only one I've ever heard say this. I actually agree 100%. He said he doesn't call it the Protestant Reformation. He calls it the Protestant Revolution.
That's true.
I 100% agree. I just happen to believe in the revolution. Like, the American Revolution was a revolution.
The same thing. Yeah.
But we were the good guys.
It wasn't the American Reformation.
Yes, exactly. And so,
I think there was probably about the same amount of fighting.
Yes, but think about this now. Americans and the British are on really good terms.
Yeah.
I think we can reach that, and in some parts have already reached that with the Catholics, where we can be on good terms, despite the fact that we fought a revolutionary war, which was for a long time non-violent and then got very violent, eventually ended with the Peace of Westphalia, all that. Everyone knows that. If you don't know that history, you should look it up. I'm not going to explain.
I need to look into the Revolutionary War more. I know.
No, I'm talking. No, I was talking about the Protestant.
Okay, that makes
Peace of Westphalia, where all the
okay,
basically. I think, what was it, the 7 Years War? I think it was the 7 Years War.
I forget which war is which.
I know, they all
the
blend
7
together.
Years War, the 15 Years War, the 100 Years War. It's like, which, the year.
One of the wars, I believe it was the 7 Years War. Some people will refer to it as the very first World War, because the entirety of Europe was at war, and some of their colonial holdings were warring at the same time.
Yeah.
I believe America was colonized at this point, and the colonies. In fact, this might be what we call the French and Indian War.
I do remember that.
I can't remember.
I was there, but
I can't remember. It's been a little bit since I've freshened up on that war that ended with the Peace of Westphalia. Basically, it was the Catholics versus the Protestants in Europe. All the Catholic countries were warring each other against all the Protestant countries, and it ended by everyone saying, "Okay, you know what? Let's make peace. And we're not going to war against you to convert you if you don't war against us to convert us. Within your own state boundaries, you can feel free to be Protestant or Catholic, and we won't get in the way." Now, the funny thing is, that's actually all the Protestants, to my knowledge, ever really wanted. So it was really just forcing a concession out of the Catholic Church to say, don't forcibly convert us. But
Muslim us.
Which is why I have heard Catholics refer to the Peace of Westphalia and be like, actually wasn't such a great thing, It actually kind of ushered in a new liberal world order kind of thing. I've heard people say that, and I'm like, no, I actually do think that if you're a nation state, you have the right to have your own state religion if you want to. We do in America. It's called leftism. That's our state religion. I want to vote it out, but I don't have enough political power.
You were wrong.
I know, that's our state religion. That is it. Yeah. I think we functioned better when our state religion was effectively Christianity,
or at least tried to pretend to be Christianity.
Yeah.
I would take someone trying to pretend to be Christian over someone who's overtly not.
Oh, absolutely.
Pretty much.
It's just
because pretending to be Christian makes you a better person.
Well, I think it was Voltaire. I think it was Voltaire who said, he's a famous atheist writer from like the
Voltaire or the guy that you're talking about?
Yeah, Voltaire.
Or both.
I think he was the Enlightenment era. Very famous writer. Was he the
Pound of Flesh guy?
No.
Or was that someone else? Okay, go ahead.
Pound of Flesh is Shakespeare.
No, am I thinking? Anyway, go ahead.
Voltaire once wrote, he was very famously an atheist, but he once wrote, "I may not believe in God, but I really hope my neighbor does." Because everybody generally likes the Christians because we're good, peaceable folk, and we don't really believe in oppression and violence.
People who aren't going out of their way to victimize themselves.
Yeah. So, anyway, I say all that to say, going back to the Peace of Westphalia, even that, it's very, just the core assumptions, this is really the division between the Catholics and Protestants, is the core assumptions about authority and the
Yeah.
source of authority. Because my biggest thing, I agree with the Catholics on so many things.
It's really centralist Christianity and
decentralized.
decentralized.
Centralized and
Christianity.
decentralized.
Yeah.
And
Decentralized.
I don't think that any human being deserves the kind of authority that the Pope has.
I actually have an interesting quote for you.
Ooh, okay,
based
go.
on
Yeah,
that.
because we got way off track when it comes to
I
quotes.
think I wrote it down here. Yeah. See if you can guess what denomination this is from, just for
Okay.
funsies. But enforced uniformity, sooner or later, is the greatest occasion of civil war, ravishing of conscience, persecution of Christ Jesus in his servants, and of the hypocrisy and destruction of millions of souls.
So
Interesting, right?
I tend to agree with it.
I know. I was like, wow.
It doesn't seem fiery enough to be Martin Luther, but it seems anti-Catholic enough. Maybe it's John Wesley?
This is Roger Williams
I don't know who that is.
from The Bloody Tenet of Persecution for Cause of Conscience.
Interesting. I don't know.
He
I've
was
never
one
heard
of
of
the founders of Baptist.
that. Okay.
He actually, so the guy, as far as I can tell, that was 1605. So I don't know where that lines up with these, but it sounds like it's in the same general time frame, which
Yeah.
would make this make a lot more sense.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I tend to like to quote. You can't. Well, you can and you can't. So here's something interesting historically that I think happened.
Mhm.
And you know what? Now that we're talking about all this stuff, I'm going to go ahead and use this.
we're on full rant mode now.
Yeah, we are.